Have you ever heard God say something to you, something very clear, something very strong, but He did not tell you how you're going to go about it? That was me. God told me that I will send you to a land where there is milk and honey. I believed Him, but I never knew what that will come with. I thought it would be simple. I thought it would make sense. But this season taught me how to hear God and follow Him even when I do not understand. So in this video, I will share my journey with you and still teach you how to hear God for yourself in every season of your life. 5 years ago, I rededicated my life to God, and God said, I will take you to a land where there is milk and honey. I was so excited. I was so happy about the plan, but I never knew what this was. But fast forward to today, I realized that one thing I learned from this journey is that God will never give you an explanation or a plan or give you a full picture of what His promise is to you. Sometimes God has given you a word, but not in details, and that could be very uncomfortable, especially if you want clarity. Just like me, I am a planner. I come with plans. When God told me to relocate, I was like, Lord, I needed a plan. I needed to put everything together. And the Lord said, I will be with you and I will guide you. I was like, yes, Lord, but I need to put it all together. In Habakkuk 2 verse 2 and 3 says, write the vision, even when it tarries, wait for it. This means that the vision might be clear, but the timing and the planning may not be. In this moment, you have a choice. Do I trust what God said, or I wait until it all makes sense? 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, we walk by faith and not by sight. So hearing God is one thing, but trusting God with what you heard is the real journey. A lot of people used to say, how do I know that is God speaking? And sincerely, I used to wonder the same thing. So this is it. Let me share this with you, because this helped me and I know it can bless you as well. I realized something. God's voice is not loud. God's voice is not always dramatic. It's a deep knowing in your spirit. When I wanted to relocate, when God told me I needed to relocate, I just had this strong urge that I have never felt before. I travel a lot and I've never desired to stay outside my country. So I knew that this can only be from God because it wasn't my desire. In John 10:27 says, my sheep knows my voice and they follow me. That means as you grow in your relationship with God, you start recognizing His voice. In 1 Kings 19:12 says, God did not come in the wind, God did not come in the fire, God came in the still, quiet voice. And anything that comes from your own thoughts, that is usually not from God. God's word comes from within and you can't just shake it off. So if your life is full of noise, distraction, and overthinking, it may become harder to hear His voice. These are 3 ways to know that is God's voice. 1, it aligns with His word. 2, it brings peace and not confusion. 3, it leads you even if it stretches you. Sometimes it's not that God is not speaking, but we are not still enough to hear Him. I will tell you that there were so many times I doubted what God was saying. And even when I relocated, there were so many times I did not understand what was happening to me. I knew that I was hearing God, but the stress and the emotions I was going through felt like it wasn't God. My life did not suddenly look like milk and honey. It actually became uncomfortable. There were delays. There were moments I did not understand. There were days I questioned everything. And I had to confront all this. Just because God gave you a promise does not mean that the process will not look like it. In Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is a substance of things not seen and an evidence of things hoped for. So faith lives in the unseen. That means if your life do not reflect the promises that God has already given, doesn't mean you didn't hear right, doesn't mean that He didn't speak. It just shows that he is still working. He's working on your character. He's working on your consistency. He's working on building you. I'm going to be honest. There were moments I asked, God, did I hear you wrong? And this, I tell you, was not even a joke. I was wailing and crying, Lord, is this for real? Because the journey became difficult. There were so many things that I never saw coming as an immigrant. A lot of us think that if it's God, it will be easy. But God showed me something powerful. Difficulty does not mean that you missed him. In Isaiah 55 verse 8 and 9 says, my thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. So those hard moments are not distraction, they were preparation. And I tell you, all those times that I struggled, there were times that the Lord built me. I had to learn to stand up. I had to learn to leave my comforts to be able to stretch myself and explain myself and be more confident in rooms that I never thought I would be in. Because God was building my capacity in what he has already promised me. This season completely changed my life. Faith is not, okay, I understand it, I will move. It means that God said it and I will follow. Hebrews 3 verse 5 and 6 says, trust God with all your heart and do not lean to your own understanding. That is the hard part, leaning to your own understanding. Because your mind is trying to make sense of everything. But faith requires surrendering. So if you are waiting to feel ready, you might likely wait for a long time. Faith is choosing God daily, even when it doesn't make sense. Now, this is how to follow God practically that I have done, and I know that this can help you. Because if you are in a season that you are asking that, Lord, I want to hear you, I want to walk with your understanding, these steps will help you. 1. Stay in his word. In Psalm 119 verse 105 says, his word is a lamp unto my feet. 2. Pray constantly, not only when you feel confused. 3. Obey little instructions. It matters more than you can imagine. 4. Do not rely on your emotions because they change. 5. Stay consistent even when it feels hard. And finally, in Deuteronomy 5:33 says, walk in obedience so you may prosper. So here is the truth. Clarity does not come before obedience. It comes after. If you feel like you are in the middle right now and God has given you a promise, but your life is not yet reflecting it, I want you to hold on to this. You are not lost. You are being led. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plan I have for you, and it's of good and not of evil. So do not quit. Do not go back. Stay with God, because the life of the milk and honey is not a destination. It's a life built in trust, obedience, and a relationship with God. Where God is taking you is still ahead and is something big. God bless you and see you on the other side of greatness.